Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another thrilling discussion on all things well-being, which is what Minecraft is about, becoming the boss of your brain, because many people don't get that thoughts come first. Or they get it, like they get it, but it's not right up here, you know what I mean? Like the thoughts come first and feelings second and actions or behavior third, which means whatever we think leads to how we feel. So think about that. Whatever we allow in the head, angry thoughts are going to have us feeling angry. Blah, 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 blah. That is primarily what Minecraft is about. And so tonight I want to discuss still inspired, meaning in spirit, with my friend Tom, with the whole synchronicity thing, because leading up to him, okay, we've been talking about listening to the whispers, which is Oprah's word, or I like to say inner voice, and how totally important that is. And we've talked a lot about, or Tom talked a lot about the synchronicity thing and, unexplained stuff. You have somebody on the mind and all of a sudden the phone rings and it's them. You're like, whoa, that was weird. Having things lead up to getting that ideal job for you. And then you look back, you're like, wow, connect the dots with that. That was like mysterious and things like that. So also, you get your nose again. Because we heat with wood and it's a little bit dry, Anyway, and it's also the tundra again tonight. So, yep, Northern Vermont's not for wimps. Okay, and Tom was also in his podcast. Hopefully you had a chance to listen to that. I'll put it on the link or underneath on this too. It was one of the best ones I've ever done, actually, which is a big statement. I've done a lot of interviewing of people, and he was definitely in the top few that I've ever done. Just so good. Anyway, so sadly, the opposite is true, which Oprah also talks about too, because when we don't listen to the whispers. So the whispers can be, eating really badly, maybe smoking. I'm not judging, by the way, because we're all doing those things for a reason, to try to bring ourselves down. It's just not the healthiest, but I'm not judging. It's just for the sake of example. So eating really badly, smoking and drinking, and not getting exercise, and then we get a little bit of a pain maybe here. We go to the doctor, and the blood levels are up high, and then we kind of ignore. We're not walking. We're sitting on the couch, and then lots of whispers. And friends may be saying, "Hey, let's go for a walk. Let's do this. Let's do that." Or, just because I love you, how about giving up the smoking? And whispers. And then what happens when we don't listen to those? It's like bang, life-changing, heart attack, and then all that stuff is forced. Exercising, eating better, stopping smoking, stopping drinking so much, or whatever. That's all forced upon us when we didn't listen to the whispers. And that's kind of like a dramatic example, right? And so that can be also, well, that's also positive, because if it turns your life around, I guess. But I'd rather not have the whisper turn into a brick wall like that, or a brick. I think Oprah says brick. For me, I usually say, we're right on the same page, Oprah and I. We're very good friends. She doesn't know where yet, but it's okay. We're going to meet eventually. So she talks about the whisper turning into a brick. I've always talked about it being like a neon sign in Vegas, but I like her, with the life lessons, because life gives us quizzes, and sometimes they're final exams. Until we get it, we don't advance. Like we advance from 5th grade to 6th grade. If we don't get the lesson, we don't advance. And so anyway, there's the whispers that are like turn into a brick, and there's also just subtle whispers that are trying to guide us in the right direction, maybe towards a partner, or that new job, or just a whole new situation. Maybe it's geographically a new place to live. Whispers. And so here's the other thing. Not only when we don't listen to whispers can they turn into bricks, but when we actually resist the whispers, things can really get worse, because that which we resist will persist. And I thought of that because Tom brought up Carl Jung, who's just did amazing work on all kinds of things, personality and collective consciousness, and just a brilliant psychoanalyst. But anyway, he said that which we resist will persist, because it's our nature. So if we don't want to get out of the relationship that's not healthy because it's secure and it feels comfortable, even though it's not good for us, and even if it's not on the scale of like abuse or like maltreatment, it might just be really stagnant and unhealthy, just really stagnant and unhealthy, and we're not growing. And I don't mean necessarily a romantic relationship either. We can have friends all the way along, and all of a sudden, we might have just grown a different direction, yet we're still spending loads and loads and loads of life minutes with somebody out of obligation. That isn't good either. You're not saying to cut them loose or anything, but you just got to reevaluate all this stuff. And we can resist. Same thing with being in a stagnant job, and just staying out of comfort. And I don't know, because it feels too risky to have to up and go out of a relationship or out of a job. And then we can be getting signals, and we're not paying attention. Because remember, we also talked about there are two main things that pretty much sum up life: attention and intention. Only what we attenuate to is also going to make it into long-term memory. So it's very important just for that one reason. When we are walking around on autopilot, it just doesn't go well for us. It just doesn't. Because we're on autopilot, we are missing the whispers. They turn into bricks. We then don't land with the right person, right job, right house, whatever, because we're not listening. That is the main theme. And the main theme is also resistance, which comes a lot with the noise. Tom also talked about that. And actually, our dean talks a lot about that, just side note. The noise is what gets in the way. So really, the noise is the buzz of life. Technology, for sure, can be a big part of the noise. We got to clear the air. So Tom talked about it. I talk about it a ton in my Minecraft classes. The only way to be able to hear those whispers, prevent them from turning into bricks, which then reduces our resistance and opens us up to all the abundance that the infinite abundance the universe has to offer, is to pay attention. When we're on autopilot, we are missing life, to be honest with you, missing life. Living deliberately has to do with paying attention. Then, after we sort of get that down, we're paying attention in the moment on purpose. Then we set an intention, attention and intention. Every day of my life, I do this. So after I do my gratitude journal thing, I do that right in the house with my hot tea. And then I told you, I think that I wait to say the intention in the Jeep because I'm totally alone. I say it right out there. My intention today is to have no worries, none. My intention today is to be present. My intention today is to have this important meeting go as well as possible for the greater good, for what is best for everybody involved. My intention today is to enjoy my young adult at lunch for her birthday yesterday and just be 100% emotionally available and just enjoy lunch. That's my intention. So attention and intention will both decrease resistance, which does nothing but cause problems for us. And so Tom was talking about the green lights, right? Hopefully you heard that, the green lights. So it's kind of like when things just fall in place, like there's the relationship thing. The house we're in right now, I told you about that. It fell into place so quickly, so easily. You just know it's meant to happen. Well, when we resist, it's a bunch of red lights and we're not paying attention. There might have been one cue after the other to not stay in that relationship. Maybe it's just starting out. There's like red flag here, red flag there, which is red light, stop. We're ignoring them because we're just not paying attention. We're ignoring them, and then we ignore enough red lights, and it just explodes. Kind of like running through one. So that would be the opposite of what Tom was talking about with the green lights, because we all know what it feels like when stuff just falls into place. It just falls into place. And people will say, well, that was meant to be. Well, yeah, it was. And because we have free choice in this life, we can ignore, the whispers and the green lights that the universe, God, source, whomever, however you define that, we can ignore those, and we can also ignore the red lights, which cause nothing but problems for us. Okay, there we go. That which we resist will persist. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from being right next to my wood stove because it's warm here for Northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.